That's interesting. I never knew I had a light on here, but... Alright, so... The subtle art of doing nothing. Alright, welcome to my channel, The Subtle Art of Doing Nothing. My name is Shane, and today we're going to be talking about The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fook by Mark Hansen. This is a fantastic book. I just started to read it yesterday and I finished it this morning. And the reason why I say that is it's an easy read. You can cover this in a weekend. And I encourage anyone, if you've ever seen this book in chapters or Indigo or online on Amazon, if you haven't read this book yet, I would strongly encourage you to read it, because I'm going to be talking a little bit about this book, and hopefully by the end of it, you will want to purchase this book as well. All right, so The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fook. What is it about? Is it about not giving a fook about anything in life? No, it's actually quite the opposite. In a nutshell, according to Mark Hansen, is you have so many fooks to give. And if you're wasting time giving fooks to everything, then you're wasting your time. You should be able to only give a fook about things that you actually care about. So there are basically 5 takeaways from this book. The first thing is responsibility. You have to be responsible for yourself, the things that you can control, your values. You're not responsible for other people. You're not responsible for how they react to you, if they like your video, if they like your post, how many people you have on LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. That's all out of your control. You're responsible for only you, for only the things that you can control. And a lot of that is internal. The external things you aren't responsible for whatsoever. So that he talks a little bit about that, being responsible. It also talks about the idea of being able to suffer through failure. And there's a quote that says, failure is not an option. I think it was in Apollo 13 with Ed Harris's character. But in reality, failure should be an option. You should have the ability to fail daily. Now, if you're failing at the same thing over and over again, maybe you need to change some things up, because that's not how the world is meant. The world is designed in a way that if you can suffer through failure in some degree, on the other side of it, you'll be much better. So how can I say that with boldness? Well, we suffer every single day, and without suffering, life really is meaningless. You have to suffer in some way. So say, for example, myself. If I look in the mirror and lie to myself and say, I am absolutely perfect, I am handsome, I am just a physical specimen, there's nothing I need to improve, well, I'm kind of lying to myself right now. And if you're one of those people that like to look in the mirror, or if you've been told, hey, look in the mirror, tell yourself, I am successful, I am handsome, I am happy, all this stuff. The truth is you're not. That's why you're looking in the mirror. So according to Mark Hansen, and I believe this to be true, if you don't have little problems to solve on a daily basis, your life is basically meaningless. So you need to embrace those obstacles that are in your way. If you lost a job, if you've failed at certain things, you need to embrace that and be able to understand why you failed at that, so that you can learn from it, and then on the other side, you'll be a better human being. So he talks about suffering through failure, and that's how it is in life. If I want to have a better body, if I want to lose a little bit of weight, I need to suffer by going to the gym. And believe me, it is suffering, picking up weights and tearing the little fibers in your muscles so that you can repair them and get them stronger. That is suffering. You can only get a good body by suffering. You can only get a better mentality if you suffer by doing nothing. Believe me, a lot of people will look at doing nothing as suffering, but you need to go through some of that in order to appreciate everything else on the other side. So he also talks about um, being insecure, the insecurities that we have. Like, we are wrong about so many things, and that's okay, because in order to learn from life, you have to be wrong about a few things. And it's okay to change your opinion and think one way and then all of a sudden go, you know what? I was actually wrong about that. And now this is what I think. That's fine. That is life. So he talks a little bit about that. The biggest takeaway in the book that I got was the ability for us as human beings to be able to contemplate the idea that we are mortal. This is what separates us from the animals, from the chimpanzees, from our dogs, our pets, all that kind of stuff. I could promise you my dogs do not think about mortality. They do not think about when they're going to die, all that kind of stuff. They basically think about two things, and that is when they get fed in the morning and when they get fed at night. That's it. Their whole life surrounds themselves around that idea. Sometimes they might add in a little belly rub here and there, and maybe running around chasing some of their toys, but that's pretty much it. But us as human beings, we have the ability to be able to contemplate life and go, you know what? I may actually not be around for another 50 years. I'm 50 years old right now. I may only live to 100, maybe 110, maybe 120. Chances are not much more than that. I've never heard of anyone today dying of 120. So we have a limited lifespan, and in thinking that way, some of us can either break down by going, well, what's the use? I might as well just go out and do whatever I want because I'm going to die. Others will think, how can I leave a bit of a legacy behind, because I am mortal, because I will die one day. And it's okay to talk about those things and think about it. I have 3 kids. I have a son and 2 daughters. I want to be able to leave something behind, a bit of a legacy, so that they won't forget me, one, and then they'll be able to learn some things from me, whether that means today, a month from now, 10 months from now, 10 years from now, whatever it is. I want to have some legacy for them, besides an inheritance, something that they could remember me by. And I think that's important. That's how we can exist as human beings, by understanding that we're mortal and that we have a purpose here on life, or here on earth. Our life purpose is to be able to struggle daily, suffer daily, but to be able to get through that as well and learn from that suffering. You don't want too much suffering where you can't do anything, but I honestly believe that some suffering is okay. I know there are people out there that are absolutely terrified of leaving their home because of this whole pandemic, and there's probably nothing that I could say to convince you that you should leave your home. You should go out for a walk. You should go out into the sun and build up a bit of an immunity. There's probably nothing I could say to help you do that. But from my experience, I work in a grocery store every single day, and it's not as bad as they are saying it is. I'm not saying that there is no COVID-19. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it may not be as bad as they say. If you look at statistics, 80 to 90% of the people that get COVID-19 have mild to no symptoms. Mild to no symptoms. It's almost like a cold or a flu. There are some people that get a flu and die. There are some people that get pneumonia and die and all that kind of stuff. But if you are fearful of stepping outside of your home, your immunity is going to be taken down a few notches, and there is a chance that you could get sick later. So the only thing I could say to that is I would encourage you to get out into the sun, go for walks, even if it's by yourself, or find a friend, whatever it is, get out of the house, because it's so important that you get out into the sun in order to really get out there and enjoy life. Because I honestly believe on the other side of this, through all this suffering and pain that we've been through, our society is going to be better, because we will appreciate things a little bit more. Like, for example, myself, I appreciate church a little bit more because we had over 1,000 people in our congregation, and now we have to meet virtually online, and I miss being in person. I miss the hugs, I miss the handshakes, all that kind of stuff. So that's it. So again, if you haven't read this book, I strongly encourage you to read it. And that's it for this episode, and I will see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please consider subscribing, liking this video, all that stuff. It helps the algorithms. If you do like it and comment and all that stuff, it actually pushes the video up. So thanks again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.